The text from my wife hit my phone at 2:47 p.m. on that godforsaken Saturday. Having the best time with the girls. Resort is amazing. Miss you, babe. 3 heart emojis. 3 heart emojis while she was screwing some muscle-bound gym rat in a couple's suite 3 hours away. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up to Thursday, when this whole shitstorm started brewing. Girls' trip this weekend, honey, Samantha announced Thursday evening, not even looking up from her phone as she scrolled through what I now know were probably intimately texts from her boy toy. She was perched on our white leather couch, the one she'd insisted we buy because it looked sophisticated, wearing those tight yoga pants that showed off the ass I thought belonged to me. Have fun, I said, because that's what good husbands say. That's what trusting, naive, soon-to-be cuckolded husbands say while their wives plan weekend sleepists with personal trainers named Chad or Brad or whatever steroid-enhanced name he goes by. Friday morning, she was all kisses and sweetness. Back Monday, babe. Love you so much. She even made me coffee, probably guilt coffee, I realize now. The kind of coffee cheating wives make when they're about to spend 48 hours riding someone else's dick in a luxury resort while their husbands work from home like good little providers. I watched her load her overnight bag into her white BMW, the one I'd bought her for our anniversary last year. The irony wasn't lost on me later. I'd essentially purchased the getaway car for her affair. Drive safe, I called out, waving from our front door like the world's biggest sucker. She blew me a kiss and drove off to destroy our marriage. Saturday afternoon, I was running errands at Westfield Mall, trying to find a decent birthday gift for my sister. The jewelry store caught my eye, maybe some earrings or a necklace. That's when I saw her. Ashley Martinez, Samantha's stunning friend from college, 5'6" of pure trouble in a sundress that hugged every curve God had blessed her with. Dark hair, darker eyes, and a smile that could make married men forget their vows, which, as it turned out, was exactly what was about to happen. "Hey, what are you doing here?" she asked, seeming genuinely surprised to see me. "Shopping for my sister's birthday. What about you?" We made small talk for a few minutes. She was looking at bracelets, something delicate and silver. I found myself noticing how her fingers moved over the jewelry, graceful and deliberate. Found myself wondering what those fingers would feel like. "Stop it," I told myself. "You're a married man." "Yeah, right." Then it hit me. "Wait, aren't you on the trip with my wife?" Ashley's face shifted. The friendly smile became something else entirely, something knowing, something dangerous. She smirked. "What trip?" My stomach dropped like I'd just stepped off a cliff. "The girls' weekend. I thought you were going with her and the others." Ashley laughed, but there was no humor in it. "I wasn't invited to any girls' weekend, David." The mall suddenly felt too loud, too bright. The jewelry store's fluorescent lights were giving me a headache. Or maybe that was just my world starting to collapse. "She's with her other guy," Ashley said matter-of-factly, like she was commenting on the weather. "What?" The word came out as barely a whisper. "Your wife's been seeing someone, some guy from her gym. Everyone knows but you, apparently." Everyone knows but you. Those words hit me like a sledgehammer to the chest. I felt my face burning with embarrassment, with rage, with the kind of humiliation that makes grown men want to disappear into the floor. "Who?" I managed to ask. Ashley shrugged, examining her manicured nails. "Some trainer. Chad something. Big muscles, small brain. You know the type." Of course it was a trainer. Of course it was some gym-obsessed pretty boy who probably called her babe and flexed in mirrors and took protein shakes for breakfast. The cliché was almost insulting. "How long?" I asked. "Months, maybe longer. She's been using the friend group as cover, saying we're all going on trips together. I stopped covering for her after the third lie. That's why I wasn't invited this time. She knows I'm done with her bullshit." Months. My wife had been sleeping with someone else for months, and I'd been sitting at home like an idiot, working 60-hour weeks to pay for her gym membership so she could meet her lover. Ashley was watching me carefully, probably gauging whether I was going to have a breakdown right there in K Jewelers. Instead, I felt something cold settle in my chest, something calculating. "I'm sorry you had to find out this way," she said, touching my arm gently. Her hand was warm against my skin. "You deserve so much better than her." I looked at Ashley, really looked at her. She'd always been beautiful, but there was something else there now. Something I'd been too married, too faithful, too stupid to notice before. "Forget her," Ashley said, stepping closer. Close enough that I could smell her perfume, something floral and expensive. "Dinner with me tonight?" The suggestion hung in the air between us like a loaded gun. "I've always thought you deserved better," she continued, her voice dropping to something almost intimate. "Let me show you what you've been missing." Every rational part of my brain screamed no. I was married. This was my wife's friend. This was wrong. But my wife was in a couple's suite with another man, probably doing things to him that she hadn't done to me in months. My wife had turned our marriage into a joke, and I was the only one not laughing. "Okay?" I heard myself say. Ashley's face lit up like I'd just made her day. "Pick me up at 7. I'll text you my address." We exchanged numbers right there in the jewelry store, surrounded by symbols of commitment and fidelity. The irony was thick enough to cut with a knife. I drove home in a daze, my phone buzzing with Ashley's address and a message. "Can't wait for tonight. Wear something nice." An emoji kiss from my wife's best friend, while my wife was probably getting actual kisses from her gym boyfriend. I sat in my driveway for 10 minutes, staring at our house. Our perfect suburban home with the manicured lawn and the white picket fence and the happy marriage that was apparently a complete lie. Then I did something I'd never done before. I checked Samantha's location on Find My Friends, Lakewood Resort, 3 hours away, exactly where she said she'd be. I called the resort. "Lakewood Resort, how can I help you?" "Hi, I'm trying to confirm a reservation for my wife. Last name Thompson?" "Of course, let me check. Yes, Mrs. Thompson is with us through Monday." My heart was pounding. "How many guests in the party?" "2 guests, sir. They're in one of our couple's suites." 2 guests. Couple's suite. I thanked the clerk and hung up, then sat there in my car feeling like the world's biggest fool. While I'd been working late nights and weekend mornings building our future, she'd been building a relationship with someone else. But as I sat there, something else started building inside me. Not just anger, though there was plenty of that. Not just hurt, though that was threatening to drown me. Revenge, cold, calculated, devastating revenge. I went inside and started getting ready for my date with my wife's best friend. I picked up Ashley at exactly 7 o'clock, and when she opened her apartment door, I nearly forgot how to breathe. She'd traded the sundress for something in deep red that clung to her body like it had been painted on. Her dark hair fell in waves over her shoulders, and her lipstick matched the dress perfectly. "You look incredible," I said, and meant it. "You clean up pretty well yourself," she replied, running her eyes over my navy suit. "I made reservations at Marcello's." Marcello's. The most expensive Italian restaurant in the city, the same place I'd taken Samantha for our anniversary 2 years ago, back when I thought we were happy. The hostess seated us at a corner table with soft lighting and real candles. Ashley ordered wine, something French and expensive that I'd never heard of but pretended to appreciate. We talked about everything except the elephant in the room, my cheating wife, and what we were really doing here. "Tell me about your work," Ashley said, leaning forward slightly. The candlelight caught the gold necklace at her throat, drawing my attention to the smooth skin of her neck. "Software development, not very exciting." I took a sip of wine. "What about you?" "Marketing for a pharmaceutical company, also not very exciting." she smiled. But I'm not here to talk about work. What are we here to talk about? Ashley reached across the table and covered my hand with hers. Her skin was soft, warm. We're here to talk about how you've been wasted on someone who doesn't appreciate what she has. Ashley, she's an idiot, David. A selfish, stupid idiot who threw away the best thing that ever happened to her. I stared down at our joined hands. How long have you known? About the affair? Months. She started asking me to cover for her back in February. Tell David I'm with you if he asks. We went shopping together, right? I went along with it at first because she's supposed to be my friend. What changed? Ashley's grip on my hand tightened. I got tired of watching her treat you like shit while you worshiped the ground she walked on. And honestly, she looked directly into my eyes. I got tired of pretending I didn't want you for myself. The admission hung between us like a confession. I should have pulled my hand away, should have made some excuse and left, should have gone home to my empty house and waited for my cheating wife to return from her weekend of betrayal. Instead, I turned my hand palm up and interlaced our fingers. Tell me about him, I said. The trainer. Ashley's expression darkened. Chad Morrison, 28, all muscles and no brain, the kind of guy who takes selfies at the gym and thinks protein powder is a food group. How did they meet? She joined that fancy fitness club downtown about 6 months ago, said she wanted to get in shape, but I think she was just bored. Bored with marriage, bored with you, bored with being a responsible adult. Ashley took a sip of wine. Chad was her personal trainer. Apparently he's very hands-on with his instruction. I felt my jaw clench. And you know this how? Because she couldn't shut up about him. Chad says this, Chad thinks that. It was nauseating. She'd show me pictures of him, talk about his apartment, his motorcycle, his abs, like she was 16 again instead of a 32-year-old married woman. The waiter brought our food, some kind of pasta dish that probably cost more than most people's weekly grocery budget. I found I wasn't very hungry. She thinks she's so clever, Ashley continued, twirling linguine around her fork. Thinks she's getting away with something. But everyone at the gym knows. Her co-workers suspect. Hell, even your neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, asked me if everything was okay between you two. Mrs. Patterson. Our 70-year-old neighbor who knew everyone's business. If she was asking questions, then Samantha's affair was practically public knowledge. I feel like such an idiot, I said. You're not an idiot. You're a good man who trusted his wife. That's not stupidity. That's decency. Something she clearly knows nothing about. Ashley reached across the table again, this time touching my cheek. Her loss is my gain. The words sent electricity through me. This beautiful, intelligent woman wanted me while my wife was off playing house with her muscle-bound boy toy. What happens after tonight? I asked. Ashley's smile was pure temptation. That depends on you. We skipped dessert. The drive back to my house was charged with tension. Ashley sat close enough that I could feel the heat radiating from her body, her hand resting on my thigh as I drove. Every traffic light felt like an eternity. Are you sure about this? I asked as we pulled into my driveway. I've never been more sure of anything in my life, she replied. The question is, are you? I looked at my house, the house I shared with a woman who was currently sharing a bed with another man, and made my decision. Yes. We barely made it through the front door before Ashley was in my arms, her mouth on mine, her body pressed against me with an urgency that took my breath away. She tasted like wine and possibility, like everything I'd been missing without knowing it. Bedroom, she whispered against my lips. I should have felt guilty walking into the bedroom I shared with my wife, but I didn't. If anything, there was a poetic justice to it. While Samantha was defiling our marriage vows in some luxury resort, I was reclaiming what was mine in the most intimate way possible. Ashley was everything Samantha wasn't. Passionate, present, grateful. She made me feel like a man instead of just a provider, a lover instead of just a husband. When she whispered my name in the darkness, it sounded like a prayer. Afterward, we lay tangled in sheets that still smelled like my wife's perfume, and I felt more satisfied than I had in months. "No regrets?" Ashley asked, tracing patterns on my chest with her fingertip. "None," I said, and meant it. She stayed the night. In the morning, I woke to the smell of coffee and bacon, and found Ashley in my kitchen wearing one of my button-down shirts and nothing else, humming as she cooked breakfast. "Good morning, handsome," she said, rising on her toes to kiss me. This was what a marriage should feel like, I realized. This easy intimacy, this genuine affection. This was what I'd been missing. My phone buzzed with a text from Samantha. "Having the best time with the girls. Resort is amazing. Miss you, babe?" Ashley read the message over my shoulder and laughed. "She's really committed to the lie, isn't she?" I typed back. "Having a great weekend, too? Glad you're enjoying yourself." Vague enough to be true, specific enough to make her think I was just sitting home missing her like a good little husband. "Let her think she's winning," Ashley said, kissing my neck. "We know better." We spent the entire weekend together. Ashley barely left my side, and I found myself not wanting her to. We took subtle photos, nothing obvious, just the two of us at coffee shops and bookstores, Ashley's hand on my arm around her waist. She posted them to her Instagram with casual captions, "Great weekend," and "Good company makes everything better." I knew Samantha's friends would see them. I knew they'd start asking questions. I was counting on it. Sunday night, Ashley was curled up next to me on the couch, her head on my shoulder as we watched some mindless Netflix show when she said, "I should probably go home tonight. She'll be back tomorrow." "Stay," I said. "I want her to know." Ashley lifted her head to look at me. "Are you sure? Once she knows, there's no going back." "There's already no going back." She made sure of that when she decided to sleep with her trainer. Ashley smiled, that same dangerous smile she'd given me at the mall. "In that case, I'd love to stay." Monday morning came too soon. Ashley made coffee while I showered, and we had breakfast together like we'd been doing it for years instead of days. It felt natural. It felt right. It felt like revenge. At 10:30 a.m., my phone rang. Samantha. I let it go to voicemail. She called again at 11:15, again at noon. I ignored them all. Finally, she texted, "Heading home early. Can't wait to see you. Be there in 2 hours." I showed the message to Ashley, who was painting her nails at my kitchen table, a deep red that matched the dress she'd worn Friday night. "She's coming home early," I said. Ashley didn't even look up from her manicure. "Good. I'm ready for this." "Are you nervous?" "Honey," she said, finally meeting my eyes, "I've been ready to tell your wife exactly what I think of her for months. This is going to be fun." At 2:47 p.m., I heard the familiar sound of Samantha's BMW pulling into the driveway. Ashley and I were in the living room, her feet in my lap as I massaged them, both of us fully clothed but intimate enough to make a statement. "Showtime," Ashley murmured. The front door opened, and I heard Samantha's voice. "Honey, I'm home. I missed you so much." Her footsteps paused in the hallway. She'd probably spotted Ashley's red heels by the door, the same ones she'd worn to dinner Friday night, now sitting next to my shoes like they belonged there. "David?" Samantha's voice was uncertain now. "David, whose shoes are these?" Ashley squeezed my hand and stood up. "Come on, let's go say hello." We walked to the bedroom together, Ashley's hand in mine. Samantha was standing in the doorway, her overnight bag dropped at her feet, staring at the unmade bed with its tangled sheets and multiple pillows. "What is going on?" she said, whirling around to face us. She looked good, tanned from her weekend at the resort, her blonde hair still styled, wearing a sundress I'd never seen before. Probably bought it to impress her trainer boyfriend. "Could ask you the same thing," I said calmly. Samantha's eyes went from me to Ashley, taking in our joined hands, Ashley's satisfied smile, the obvious intimacy between us. "This is different," Samantha sputtered. This is what, exactly?" I interrupted. "This is cheating? This is betrayal? This is sleeping with someone who isn't your spouse?" Ashley stepped forward, her smile sharp as a blade. "Your girls' trip was really good, apparently. How's Chad, by the way? Did he enjoy the couple's suite?" The color drained from Samantha's face. She looked from Ashley to me, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. "You told him," she said finally. "I told him the truth," Ashley replied. "Something you seem to have forgotten how to do." And that's when I knew this was just the beginning. The silence in our bedroom stretched like a taut wire, ready to snap. Samantha stood frozen in the doorway, her perfectly manicured hands clenched into fists, her face cycling through emotions like a slot machine: shock, anger, betrayal, desperation. "How long?" she finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "How long what?" I replied, not letting go of Ashley's hand. "How long have I known about Chad? Or how long have Ashley and I been together?" "Both." The word came out strangled. Ashley laughed, a sound like crystal breaking. "I told him Saturday afternoon. We had dinner that night. And we've been together ever since." She paused, tilting her head. "So about 72 hours. Roughly the same amount of time you've been screwing your trainer in a luxury resort." Samantha's composure finally cracked. "You witch. You were supposed to be my friend." "I was your friend," Ashley shot back. "I was your friend when I covered for your first lie about girls' night. I was your friend when I made excuses for why you couldn't come to dinner parties. I was your friend when I listened to you gush about Chad's abs while your husband worked 60-hour weeks to pay for your gym membership." That's not what? That's not fair? You want to talk about fair?" Ashley stepped closer to Samantha, and I could see the years of suppressed anger finally bubbling to the surface. "Fair would have been you appreciating the incredible man you married instead of chasing after some steroid-enhanced pretty boy who probably can't spell commitment, let alone understand it." Samantha turned to me, tears starting to form in her eyes. "David, please. We can work this out. We can go to counseling. I made a mistake." "A mistake?" I felt my own anger rising. "A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk on the way home. A mistake is double booking dinner plans. Sleeping with your personal trainer for months while lying to your husband isn't a mistake. It's a choice, a series of choices." "It didn't mean anything." "It meant everything," I shouted, finally losing the calm facade I'd been maintaining. "It meant you valued your own selfish desires over our marriage. It meant you were willing to humiliate me in front of our friends, our neighbors, our entire community. It meant our wedding vows were just pretty words to you." Samantha was crying now, mascara running down her cheeks. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll end it with Chad. I'll quit the gym. I'll do whatever you want." "What I want," I said slowly, "is for you to pack your things and get out of my house." "Our house," she corrected desperately. "My house. I bought it. My name is on the deed. And I want you out of it." Ashley squeezed my hand supportively. Samantha noticed the gesture, and her tears turned to rage. "This is rich," she snarled. "You're throwing away our marriage for her? For Ashley? Do you have any idea what kind of woman she really is?" "The kind who tells the truth," I replied. "The kind who doesn't lie to people she's supposed to love. The kind who doesn't sneak around behind her partner's back." "She's been after you for years," Samantha screamed. "She's always been jealous of what we had." "What we had," Ashley said calmly, "was a marriage where one person did all the loving and the other did all the taking. And you're right. I was jealous. I was jealous that someone as selfish and ungrateful as you got to come home to David every night while he deserved so much better." Samantha looked between us, her face twisted with fury. Fine, fine. But don't think this is over. Don't think I'm just going to disappear quietly. Actually, I said, pulling out my phone, you are. I opened my photo gallery and showed her the screenshots I'd taken of her location data, the call log from the resort, the credit card statements showing charges at expensive restaurants and hotels on days when she was supposedly working late. I've been busy this weekend too, I explained. Turns out when you're not distracted by a lying wife, you have a lot of time to investigate. I know about the resort. I know about the charges on our joint credit card for Chad's birthday dinner last month. I know about the work conference in Chicago that was actually a romantic weekend getaway. Samantha's face went pale. You can't. I can, and I will. Unless you want me to send these to your boss, your parents, and everyone in your contact list, you'll pack your shit and leave quietly. No drama, no demands, no trying to take half of everything I've worked for. That's blackmail! That's consequences, Ashley corrected, something you've been avoiding for months. Samantha stood there for a long moment, her chest heaving, her hands shaking with rage. Finally, she grabbed her suitcase and started throwing clothes into it. This isn't over, she muttered. You think you know everything, but you don't? You have no idea what you're getting into with her. Try me, I said. She packed in angry silence, grabbing armfuls of clothes and cosmetics, her movements sharp and violent. Ashley and I watched from the doorway, my arm around her waist, presenting a united front. When Samantha finished packing, she turned to face us one last time. You deserve each other, she spat. When this blows up in your face, and it will, don't come crying to me. Wouldn't dream of it, Ashley replied sweetly. Samantha stormed out, her suitcase wheels squeaking against the hardwood floor. The front door slammed hard enough to rattle the windows. I stood there for a moment, listening to her car start and pull out of the driveway, waiting to feel something. Guilt, maybe, regret, loss. Instead, I felt relief. Well, Ashley said, turning in my arms. That went better than expected. Did it? She could have thrown things, could have gotten violent, could have refused to leave. Ashley smiled up at me. Instead, she folded like a cheap suit the moment you showed her the evidence. I can't believe it's over. It's not over, Ashley said, her expression growing serious. She's going to try to cause problems. Women like Samantha don't just accept defeat gracefully. As if summoned by her words, my phone started ringing. Samantha. I declined the call. She called again immediately. I declined again. Then the text started. David, please. We need to talk. I know you're angry, but we can fix this. Don't let her poison you against me. She's using you to get back at me. I love you. I've always loved you. I showed the messages to Ashley, who rolled her eyes. Predictable. She's going to try the desperate wife routine first. When that doesn't work, she'll get nasty. She was right. Over the next hour, Samantha's messages evolved from pleading to accusatory. You're making a huge mistake. Ashley has been planning this for months. She doesn't love you. She just wants to win. You're going to regret this. I hope she was worth destroying our marriage. Finally, I blocked her number. Better? Ashley asked. Better. We ordered Chinese food and ate it on the couch, Ashley curled up against my side, both of us scrolling through our phones. Already, I could see the social media fallout beginning. Samantha had posted a cryptic message on Facebook. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who hurt you the most. Trust is everything, and when it's broken, it can never be repaired. The comments were already pouring in. What happened, hun? Are you okay? Sending prayers and love. Men ain't shit, girl. Ashley showed me her own phone. She'd posted a photo from our weekend, the two of us at a coffee shop, my arm around her shoulders, both of us smiling genuinely. The caption read, "Sometimes the best things come from the worst situations. Grateful for new beginnings." The comments on her post were more interesting. Wait, isn't that Samantha's husband? OMG, what is happening? Ashley girl, you need to call me ASAP. This is messy, but I'm here for it. David is such a catch. Good for you. I can't believe Samantha was cheating. Ashley, you're a real friend for telling him. Wait, that last comment caught my attention. How do they know Samantha was cheating? Ashley's smile was mysterious. I may have mentioned it to a few people over the weekend. You know how news travels. A few people? Okay, fine. I told everyone. Samantha's been humiliating you for months, and I was tired of watching it happen. So when people asked about our weekend together, I told them the truth. All of it. I stared at her. Ashley. What? She made her choices. I just made sure there were consequences. Ashley cuddled closer to me. Besides, did you really want to be the pitied husband who didn't know his wife was cheating? This way, you're the wronged party who found someone better. Much better narrative. She was right, but the calculating nature of it should have bothered me more than it did. Instead, I found it impressive. Ashley had managed to control the narrative, protect my reputation, and destroy Samantha's all in one weekend. My phone buzzed with a call from an unknown number. I answered cautiously. David? It was Samantha calling from someone else's phone. David, please don't hang up. I put the call on speaker so Ashley could hear. We're done talking, Samantha. No, we're not. I know what Ashley is doing. I know how she manipulated this whole situation. Manipulated? I laughed. She told me the truth, something you seem incapable of doing. She's been planning this for months. She's been waiting for the right moment to break us up so she could have you for herself. I looked at Ashley, who was examining her nails with studied indifference. Even if that were true, I said, it doesn't change the fact that you were cheating on me with your trainer. That was different. No, it wasn't. And we're done. Don't call me again. I hung up and immediately blocked the number. She's not going to give up easily, Ashley warned. Let her try. I have all the evidence I need to destroy her if she pushes me. Ashley smiled and kissed my cheek. That's my man. But even as I held her close, even as I felt more desired and appreciated than I had in years, a small voice in the back of my mind wondered, what if Samantha was right? What if Ashley had been planning this all along? And then Ashley's hand found mine, her fingers intertwining with mine like they belonged there, and I decided I didn't care. If this was manipulation, it was the best thing that had ever happened to me. Tuesday morning brought the first real salvo in what I was beginning to realize would be an all-out war. I was drinking coffee in my kitchen. Our kitchen, I had to remind myself, though it felt more like mine now with Ashley's presence making everything warmer, when my phone started buzzing with calls from numbers I didn't recognize. Don't answer, Ashley advised, buttering toast while wearing one of my dress shirts. She'd stayed over again, and I was starting to hope she'd never leave. But curiosity got the better of me. I answered the fourth call. Is this David Thompson? The voice was female, professional, unfamiliar. Who's asking? This is Jennifer Walsh from Channel 7 News. I'm calling about allegations that you've been having an affair with your wife's best friend while she was away on a business trip. I nearly dropped the phone. What? We received an anonymous tip that you and Ashley Martinez have been conducting an extramarital affair and that you've been posting about it on social media. Would you care to comment? No comment, I said, and hung up immediately. Ashley was staring at me, her face pale. What was that about? A reporter. Someone called in a tip about us. Samantha, Ashley said grimly. She's escalating. My phone rang again. Different number, same type of call. Then another, and another. Jesus, I muttered, declining the fifth call. How many reporters did she contact? Ashley was already on her laptop, typing furiously. It's worse than that. Look. She turned the screen toward me. There, on the front page of our local newspaper's website, was a headline that made my blood run cold. Local tech executive's marriage implodes amid cheating scandal. The article was brief, but devastating. David Thompson, 38, CEO of TechFlow Solutions, is at the center of a cheating scandal that has rocked the affluent Westfield neighborhood. Sources close to the family report that Thompson began an affair with Ashley Martinez, 32, a family friend, while his wife Samantha Thompson was away on business. The affair was allegedly conducted in the family home and documented on social media. Mrs. Thompson was unavailable for comment, but neighbors report seeing her remove belongings from the home Monday evening. The couple has been married for 8 years. Unavailable for comment, my ass, Ashley muttered. She's the one who called them. I kept reading, my anger building with each word. The article made me sound like a predator who'd seduced my wife's innocent friend while she was working hard to support our family. There was no mention of Samantha's affair, no context for why I'd been with Ashley in the first place. This is character assassination, I said. This is war, Ashley corrected, and she just fired the first shot. My phone rang again. This time it was a number I recognized. My business partner, Mike. David, what the hell is going on? I've got reporters calling the office asking about your personal life. It's complicated, Mike. Complicated? There's an article online saying you're having an affair. This could destroy our business. I closed my eyes, feeling the weight of consequences I hadn't considered. TechFlow Solutions was my company, built from nothing over the past 5 years. If this scandal damaged our reputation... Mike, I need you to listen to me. Samantha was cheating on me. Has been for months. I found out Saturday and confronted her. Ashley told me the truth when no one else would. Jesus, David, I'm sorry. But the article doesn't mention any of that. It just makes you look like a cheating husband who got caught. I know. What are you going to do? I'm going to fight back. After I hung up, Ashley moved to sit beside me on the couch. I'm sorry, she said quietly. This is my fault. If I hadn't posted those photos... No. I took her hands in mine. This is Samantha's fault. She's the one who cheated first. She's the one who lied for months. And she's the one who decided to go nuclear instead of accepting responsibility for her actions. So what do we do? I thought about it for a moment, then smiled grimly. We tell our side of the story. I called the reporter back, Jennifer Walsh from Channel 7. Ms. Walsh, this is David Thompson. I'd like to give you that comment now. Of course, Mr. Thompson. Are you denying the affair? I'm not denying anything, but I am providing context that your source apparently forgot to mention. I took a deep breath. My wife has been having an affair with her personal trainer for months. I discovered this Saturday when Ashley Martinez, who is indeed a family friend, told me the truth that everyone else was apparently content to let me live in ignorance about. There was silence on the other end of the line. Ms. Walsh? I'm here. Do you have proof of your wife's affair? I have hotel records, credit card statements, location data, and multiple witnesses who knew about it. My wife was at Lakewood Resort this past weekend with her lover while telling me she was on a business trip. Would you be willing to provide documentation? Absolutely. But I want a full retraction of this morning's article and a new piece that tells the complete story. I'll need to speak with my editor, but yes, I think we can arrange that. After I hung up, Ashley was staring at me with something like awe. You're really going to do this? Go public with everything? She started this fight. I'm going to finish it. The rest of Tuesday was a blur of phone calls, document gathering, and strategic planning. I provided Jennifer Walsh with everything: the hotel records, the credit card statements showing romantic dinners I'd never been to, the location data proving Samantha had lied about her whereabouts multiple times over the past few months. But the real breakthrough came when Ashley made a suggestion that was both brilliant and ruthless. We should talk to Chad, she said. The trainer? Why? Because he's an idiot, and idiots make mistakes. If we can get him to admit to the affair on record. I stared at her. You want to ambush him. I want to give him enough rope to hang himself with. Ashley's plan was simple, but effective. She would contact Chad, pretending to be worried about Samantha's emotional state after our confrontation. She'd suggest they meet for coffee to discuss how to help their mutual friend through this difficult time. Chad, apparently as stupid as Ashley had claimed, agreed immediately. They met Wednesday afternoon at a coffee shop downtown. Ashley wore a wire, nothing fancy, just her phone set to record in her purse. I waited in my car across the street, watching through the window as she sat down across from a man who looked exactly like I'd imagined. Tall, muscular, with the kind of artificial tan that screamed, "I spend more time on my appearance than most women." The conversation lasted 45 minutes. When Ashley returned to the car, she was smiling like the cat who'd caught the canary. "Please tell me you got something," I said. "Oh, honey, I got everything." She played back the recording. Chad's voice was exactly what I'd expected, deep but empty, like an echo in a well. I feel bad about the whole thing, you know? But Samantha said her marriage was basically over anyway, said they hadn't been intimate in months, that David was just a roommate who paid the bills. "So, you don't feel guilty about sleeping with a married woman?" "Look, I didn't force her into anything. She came after me, if you want to know the truth. Started staying after her training sessions, asking personal questions, touching my arms and shit. What was I supposed to do?" "You could have said no." "Why? She's hot, she's rich, and she was throwing herself at me. Plus, she was paying for everything, nice dinners, weekend trips, even helped with my rent a couple times. It was like having a sugar mama." Ashley had pressed him for details, and Chad had been happy to provide them. The affair had been going on for 4 months. Samantha had told him I was emotionally distant and financially controlling. She'd promised to leave me after she figured out how to get half of everything in a divorce. She said she was just waiting for the right moment, Chad's recorded voice continued. Something about making sure she could prove I was neglecting her or some shit. She wanted to make it look like the marriage failed because of me, not because she was sleeping around. The recording was devastating. Not only did it prove the affair, but it showed premeditation. Samantha had been planning to divorce me and take half of everything while making me look like the bad guy. "There's more," Ashley said, fast-forwarding through the recording. "Listen to this part." Chad's voice again. "I mean, I feel a little bad for David. Seems like a decent guy. But if he can't keep his wife satisfied, that's not my problem, right? Besides, Samantha says he'll be fine, says he's got money and he'll find someone else eventually. What about now that everything's come out? Honestly, I'm kind of relieved. This whole sneaking around thing was getting old, and Samantha's been getting clingy lately, talking about us moving in together and shit. I'm not ready for that kind of commitment, you know?" Ashley had pushed further. "So you're not planning to be with her long term?" "No, she's hot and she's good in bed, but she's also crazy. The way she's been talking about David, about revenge and making him pay. It's scary, man. I just wanted to get laid, not get involved in some psycho divorce drama." The recording was pure gold. Chad admitting to the affair, admitting that Samantha had been planning to divorce me while making me look like the villain, and, perhaps most importantly, admitting that he had no intention of having a real relationship with her. "Ashley," I said when the recording finished, "you're a genius." "I know," she replied, grinning. "So what do we do with it?" "We destroy her." That evening, I called Jennifer Walsh again. "Ms. Walsh, I have something else for you, something that's going to change everything." The new article ran Thursday morning, and it was everything I could have hoped for. The headline read, "Cheating Wife's Elaborate Plan to Frame Husband Exposed." The article laid out everything: Samantha's months-long affair, her lies about business trips, her use of our joint credit cards to finance her relationship with Chad, and most damning of all, her plan to divorce me while making it look like I was the one who'd destroyed our marriage. Chad's quotes were featured prominently. "She was paying for everything. Nice dinners, weekend trips, even helped with my rent a couple times. It was like having a sugar mama. She said she was just waiting for the right moment. She wanted to make it look like the marriage failed because of me, not because she was sleeping around. The article painted me as the wronged party who'd been manipulated and betrayed, while Ashley was portrayed as the loyal friend who'd risked her own friendship to tell me the truth. By noon, the story had been picked up by 3 other local news outlets and was trending on social media. My phone was buzzing constantly, but this time the calls were different. Friends and colleagues reaching out to offer support. Business contacts assuring me that this wouldn't affect our professional relationships. Even my mother called to tell me she'd never liked Samantha anyway. "You did it," Ashley said, reading the comments on the online article. "Look at these." The comments were overwhelmingly supportive. Good for David for standing up for himself. "Samantha is disgusting. Using her husband's money to cheat on him? Trash." "Ashley is a real friend. Most people would have just minded their own business." "I hope David takes her for everything in the divorce." "Chad sounds like a real winner. What a catch, Samantha." But the best part was that several people who knew Samantha personally had started sharing their own stories in the comments. "I always thought something was off about her. She was always flirting with other women's husbands at neighborhood parties. She tried to get my husband to help her with some heavy lifting when David was out of town. Now I know why. My sister works at that gym. She said everyone knew about Samantha and Chad. They weren't exactly discreet. Samantha's reputation was in ruins, and there was nothing she could do about it. Every word in the article was true. Every quote was verified. Every fact was documented. She tried calling me from different numbers, but I blocked them all. She tried reaching out through mutual friends, but they'd all read the articles. She even showed up at my office Thursday afternoon, but security turned her away. Friday morning, I got a call from a lawyer, her lawyer. "Mr. Thompson, this is Robert Chen representing Samantha Thompson. My client would like to discuss an amicable settlement of your marital issues." "Settlement?" I laughed. "She can have her clothes and her car. Everything else stays with me." "Mr. Thompson, surely you understand that in a divorce, marital assets are typically divided." "Mr. Chen, surely you understand that your client committed adultery, used marital funds to support her affair, and attempted to manipulate the media to destroy my reputation. If she wants to take this to court, I'll be happy to provide all of that evidence to a judge." There was a long pause. "Perhaps we can work something out," he said finally. "Perhaps we can. Have your client sign a no-contest divorce agreement giving up any claim to my assets, and I won't pursue her for the money she stole from our joint accounts to finance her affair. I'll discuss it with my client. You do that." But as I hung up the phone, I realized this was far from over. Samantha wasn't the type to go quietly, and cornered animals were always the most dangerous. I was right to be concerned. That evening, as Ashley and I were having dinner at my house, our house, I was starting to think of it, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "You think you've won, but this is just the beginning. You have no idea what I'm capable of." I showed the message to Ashley, who frowned. "She's getting desperate," she said. "Desperate people do stupid things." Should I be worried? Ashley's smile was sharp. She should be worried, because if she tries anything else, I'll destroy what's left of her pathetic life. Looking at Ashley in that moment, beautiful, fierce, utterly devoted to protecting me, I felt a surge of something that might have been love, or might have been gratitude for having such a ruthless ally in my corner. Either way, I was beginning to understand that I'd underestimated Ashley Martinez from the very beginning. And I was starting to suspect that Samantha had too. Saturday morning brought an unexpected visitor. I was making coffee while Ashley slept in. She'd been staying over every night since Monday, and it felt natural having her there, when the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw a woman I didn't recognize. Mid-40s, professionally dressed, holding a manila folder. "David Thompson?" she asked when I opened the door. "Yes?" "I'm Detective Sarah Martinez with the County Sheriff's Office. I need to speak with you about some allegations that have been made." My blood went cold. "What kind of allegations?" "May I come in?" I led her to the living room, my mind racing. Ashley appeared at the top of the stairs, wrapped in my bathrobe, her hair tousled from sleep. "What's going on?" she asked. "This is Detective Martinez," I said. "She wants to discuss some allegations." Ashley came down the stairs, and I noticed Detective Martinez watching her carefully. "Are you Ashley Martinez?" the detective asked. "Yes. Are we related?" "Not that I know of, just a coincidence." The detective opened her folder. "Mr. Thompson, I'm here because your wife has filed a complaint alleging that you've been harassing and stalking her." "That's ridiculous," I said immediately. "I haven't contacted her since Monday." "She also alleges that you've been using social media and the press to defame her character and destroy her reputation." Ashley laughed, a sound with no humor in it. "Is telling the truth about someone's affair now considered defamation?" Detective Martinez looked between us. "Mrs. Thompson claims that the affair allegations are false, that you two conspired to frame her in order to steal her assets in a divorce." "She claims the affair is false?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "I have hotel records, credit card statements, a recorded confession from her lover." "She says those can all be fabricated or taken out of context." Ashley moved to sit beside me on the couch. "Detective, with respect, this is harassment. Samantha Thompson was caught cheating on her husband, and now she's trying to use law enforcement to intimidate him into giving her money in their divorce." "I'm just investigating the complaint, Ms. Martinez. Mr. Thompson, have you had any contact with your wife since Monday?" "None. I blocked her number and refused to see her when she came to my office." "Have you posted anything about her on social media?" "No. I spoke to one reporter and provided factual information about her affair. That's not harassment. That's defending myself against her lies." Detective Martinez made notes in her folder. "What about this recording you mentioned?" I looked at Ashley, who nodded. "Ms. Martinez obtained it," I said. "She met with my wife's lover and recorded their conversation." "With his knowledge?" "This is a one-party consent state," Ashley said smoothly. "I was legally allowed to record my own conversation." "And what did this conversation reveal?" Ashley and I spent the next 20 minutes walking Detective Martinez through everything: the original affair, Samantha's lies, her plan to divorce me while making me look like the bad guy, Chad's admission that he was just using her for money and intimacy. When we finished, Detective Martinez was quiet for a long moment. "Mr. Thompson, I have to ask, have you made any threats against your wife?" "None." "Have you damaged any of her property?" "No. She took her belongings when she left." "Have you attempted to contact her friends, family, or employer to spread information about her personal life?" "No. The only person I spoke to was a reporter, and only after she had already contacted them with false information about me." Detective Martinez closed her folder. "Based on what you've told me and the evidence you've provided, I don't see any criminal behavior here. However, I would advise you to continue avoiding contact with your wife. Let your lawyers handle everything from now on." "Absolutely," I agreed. After the detective left, Ashley and I sat in stunned silence. "She's really trying to have you arrested," Ashley said finally. "Desperate people do desperate things. This isn't desperation anymore, David. This is warfare." Ashley was right. Over the next week, Samantha's attacks escalated beyond anything I could have imagined. Monday, I discovered she'd created fake social media accounts to post negative reviews of my business, claiming I was unethical and untrustworthy. Tuesday, she called my biggest client and told them I was under investigation for harassment and that they should reconsider their contract with my company. Wednesday, she somehow got hold of my sister's phone number and called her. claiming I was having a mental breakdown and that the family needed to stage an intervention. Thursday, she filed a restraining order request, claiming I was stalking her despite the fact that I hadn't seen or spoken to her in over a week. Each attack was more desperate than the last, and each one backfired spectacularly. The fake reviews were obviously fake, all created on the same day from new accounts with no other activity. My client laughed when I explained the situation and assured me that our contract was secure. My sister called me immediately after Samantha's call to warn me and offer her support, and the restraining order request was denied after I provided the judge with evidence that I'd been avoiding all contact with her. But Friday brought the nuclear option. I was at work when Ashley called, her voice tight with controlled fury. "David, you need to come home. Now." "What's wrong?" "Just come home and bring a camera." I broke several speed limits getting back to the house. Ashley met me in the driveway, her face pale, but her eyes blazing with anger. "She broke in," Ashley said simply. "What?" "Samantha broke into the house, trashed your office, destroyed some of your clothes, poured bleach on your bed. I came back from running errands and found her here." "Where is she now?" "Gone." "But David," Ashley's voice broke slightly. "She destroyed the photos. All the photos of you and your family, your college graduation, your parents' wedding picture that was on your desk. She destroyed them all." I felt something cold and final settle in my chest. Going after my business was one thing. Trying to manipulate my family was another. But destroying irreplaceable family photos crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. "Did you call the police?" "I wanted to talk to you first, because if we call them, this becomes a criminal matter. She'll be arrested for breaking and entering, destruction of property, maybe burglary." I looked at Ashley, standing there in the driveway of my violated home, her dark hair catching the afternoon sunlight, her face fierce with protective anger on my behalf. "Call them," I said. The police arrived within 20 minutes. 2 officers who took photos of the damage, collected evidence, and took our statements. The evidence was overwhelming. Samantha still had a key to the house, but her legal right to be there had ended when I'd asked her to leave. The destruction was clearly intentional and malicious. "We'll issue a warrant for her arrest," one of the officers told me. "Breaking and entering, criminal mischief, destruction of property. She's looking at serious charges." "Good," I said and meant it. But Samantha had one more card to play. Saturday evening, Ashley and I were having dinner at a restaurant downtown, our first public date since this whole mess started, an attempt to reclaim some normalcy, when my phone rang. Chad. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "What do you want?" I said without preamble. "Dude, you need to control your crazy wife." "Ex-wife, and she's not my problem anymore." "She is if she's telling people I raped her." The restaurant suddenly felt too loud, too crowded. Ashley was watching me with concern. "What did you say?" "She's telling people I raped her. Says our whole relationship was non-consensual, that I was blackmailing her or some shit." "Dude, you heard the recording. She was all over me. She was the one with the money and the power in that relationship." I put the call on speaker so Ashley could hear. "Chad, slow down. Who is she telling this to?" "Everyone, man. Posted it on Facebook. Called my gym, even called my mom. Says she's going to the police on Monday to file charges." Ashley's face had gone white. "She's trying to rewrite history," she whispered. "If she can make herself the victim." "Chad, do you have any evidence that the relationship was consensual? Text messages, emails, anything?" "Tons, man. She was always texting me, sending me pictures, making plans. I saved everything because she's married and I wanted to cover my ass if her husband found out. Send me everything. Tonight. Why should I help you? Because if she destroys your reputation with false rape allegations, your life is over. But if we work together, we can prove she's lying." There was a long pause. Okay. Yeah, I'll send you everything. Ashley and I left the restaurant immediately. By the time we got home, my email was full of screenshots from Chad, months of explicit text messages from Samantha, photos she'd sent him, emails planning their trips together. The evidence was overwhelming and undeniable. She's lost her mind, Ashley said, scrolling through the messages. Look at this one. Can't wait to feel you inside me again. Look at this one. David's working late again, wanna come over? This one. I bought you something special to wear tonight. The messages painted a clear picture of Samantha as the pursuer, the initiator, the one with power in the relationship. There was nothing even remotely suggesting coercion or force. She's going to destroy an innocent man's life just to try to save her own reputation, I said, not if we stop her first. Sunday morning, I called Jennifer Walsh one more time. Ms. Walsh, I have one final story for you, and this one is going to be the biggest yet. The article ran Sunday evening online and Monday morning in print. The headline was devastating. Cheating wife's final desperate lie, false rape allegations exposed. The article laid out everything: Samantha's escalating attempts to avoid consequences for her affair, her break-in and destruction of property, and finally, her plan to falsely accuse Chad of rape to reframe herself as a victim rather than a perpetrator. The text messages were included as evidence, along with Chad's statement. I never forced Samantha Thompson to do anything. She pursued me, she initiated our relationship, and she was always the one in control. These false allegations are her desperate attempt to avoid taking responsibility for her own choices. The article also included a statement from me. My wife's behavior has escalated beyond anything I thought possible. She has attempted to destroy my business, manipulate my family, and now she's willing to destroy an innocent man's life with false accusations just to avoid facing the consequences of her affair. This has to stop. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Social media exploded with outrage at Samantha's false allegations. The local district attorney's office issued a statement saying they would thoroughly investigate any allegations of filing false reports. Even the gym where Chad worked issued a statement supporting him and banning Samantha from the premises. Monday afternoon, Samantha's lawyer called. Mr. Thompson, my client is prepared to sign any divorce agreement you propose. No contest, no claims on assets, no alimony requests. Smart choice, I said. There is one condition. I'm listening. She wants a mutual non-disclosure agreement. No more public statements, no more media interviews, no more social media posts about each other. I thought about it. I'd already won. Samantha's reputation was destroyed, her false allegations had been exposed, and she was facing criminal charges for breaking into my house. Continuing to attack her publicly would just make me look vindictive. Agreed, I said, but the NDA goes into effect after she publicly retracts her false allegations against Chad. I'll discuss it with my client. Tuesday morning, Samantha posted a statement on Facebook. I want to publicly apologize to Chad Morrison for the false allegations I made against him. Our relationship was entirely consensual, and my recent statements to the contrary were made in anger and desperation. I was wrong, and I'm sorry for any damage I may have caused to his reputation. The post was up for exactly 1 hour before her account was deactivated. Wednesday, the divorce papers were signed. Samantha kept her car and her personal belongings. I kept everything else: the house, the business, the bank accounts, the investments. She also agreed to pay restitution for the property she'd destroyed. Thursday, she was arrested on the outstanding warrant for breaking and entering. She spent 1 night in jail before posting bail. Friday, she left town. I heard from a mutual acquaintance that she'd moved back in with her parents in another state. Saturday evening, exactly 2 weeks after that first dinner that had started everything, Ashley and I were back at Marcello's. Same corner table, same candles, same expensive wine. But everything else had changed. Any regrets? Ashley asked, raising her glass in a toast. None, I said, clinking my glass against hers. You? Only that it took so long for you to see what was right in front of you. I looked across the table at this woman who had turned my world upside down in the best possible way. She'd told me the truth when no one else would. She'd stood by me through every attack, every escalation, every desperate move Samantha had made. She'd been my ally, my strategist, my partner in every sense of the word. "Ashley," I said, "there's something I need to ask you." "What's that?" "That first day at the mall, running into me there. Was that really a coincidence?" Ashley's smile was mysterious, dangerous, perfect. "Does it matter?" "I suppose not." "Good answer." We finished dinner and drove home, to our house now, officially and completely. As we pulled into the driveway, I saw Mrs. Patterson from next door watering her garden. She waved at us with genuine warmth. "The whole neighborhood is talking about how well you two look together," she called out. "Much better than, well, you know." Inside, Ashley kicked off her heels and curled up on the couch beside me. "So, what happens now?" she asked. "Now we live happily ever after," I said. "Just like that?" "Just like that." Ashley laughed, the sound bright and genuine. "You make it sound so simple." "It is simple. You told me the truth. I chose to believe you. We chose each other. Everything else was just noise. Expensive noise. Worth every penny." Ashley kissed me then, soft and sweet and full of promise. When we broke apart, she rested her forehead against mine. "I love you, David Thompson. I love you too, Ashley Martinez." And as we sat there in our living room, in our house, planning our future together, I realized